Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Everon and I have been playing BDO console for 2 years. In this video, I'm going to show you an awesome grinding spot for making easy money in the game. The spot is called Sycraia Underwater Ruins and is often overlooked by most players. But don't worry, I'm going to show you the tips and tricks to make the most of it. So under the current July Hot Time grinding event, whether you are just starting out or are looking for ways to speed up the process, I think you'll find this video helpful. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so I'll know my video is helpful to the community, and this will also support me to grow my channel. Alright, let's get started. First, we take a look at the general information of this grinding zone together. Sycraia Underwater Ruins have 2 different zones. The first one is Upper Zone, which is a middle tier grinding zone. Our focus in this video is the Abyssal Zone for endgame solo grinding. The Abyssal Zone offers the best AP ring in the game, that is Draught ring, and decent price for trash loot. Since May in 2022, the market price of Draught ring almost doubled. There are 3 main reasons for that. The first one is reduced supply, because many endgame grinders being shifted to the season. Another one is general market inflation, because since the increase of aggress efficiency and trash loot in Sylvia and Dragon regions, and those markets was driven up by the money per hour return increase from the grinders. And also close to the end of the season, many players are at a stage to further advance their accessories, so it's driven up the demand as well. So if the second and third factors can continue to last, I expect the market price for Draught ring will stabilize at the current price level. This will be very good with the current hot time drop rate events as well. The suggested gear for this grinding zone is about 260 AP and 330 DP. At this gear level, many players would like to compare Star's End with Sycraia. And I heard a lot of opinions that Sycraia is too far to travel than Star's End. Generally, in my opinion, I would prefer Sycraia than Star's End, at least at the moment. I'll give you 3 main reasons. The first one is Sycraia's trash loot drop is much better than Star's End. So if you have no luck to get any accessories, at least Sycraia gives better stable money. And second, Sycraia's accessory drop rate is also higher than Star's End. This mainly is because you can get Draught ring not only by direct drop, but also by combining the ancient seal, black and red shards together as an indirect method. The third way is traveling to Sycraia is actually easier than Star's End. To my experience, many players, if they base in Velia or Haydel for AFK activities, so if you use the correct travel methods, Sycraia is just like 3 minutes travel forth and 1 minute travel back. By the way, though the label of Sycraia grinding zone says it has Caphras stone feature, to my experience, it cannot compete with Mansion Forest or Caphras drop, but Sycraia do provide a very good EXP for combat and skill as a solo grinding zone. Okay, now you have a general understanding of the value of this grinding zone. Let's check my real experience, and I'll go through tips one by one with you together. I started this grinding zone with Church buff for AP and experience in Velia. You can also buy the DP buff from the Church priest as well. talking to the priest NPC, he will give you the church buff for 2 hours. You may also get more NPC buff in Haydel. Alternatively, you can also use your furniture to further increase your grinding efficiency. After that, to realize the fast travel feature for this grinding zone, you'll need to tag another character. So ideally, the tagged alt is a level 60 sage, because the passive of the sage on level 60 can freely unlock the Sycraia Abyssal Zone without cost. So once done, let's see the instant travel method. You can use a traveler's map or archaeologist map to fast travel to Velia Island. Then just head north. You can choose auto path, or if you wish to further save your time, you can get a pearl item called Celestial Horn to summon your horse remotely. For me, I'm a succession line. This is even simpler to just glide down from the top of the terrain. You then talk to the NPC Wakitoshi to purchase the Mighty Stone for Sycraia here if you wish to further advance your combat EXP. This is suggested for players below level 62 because after 62 the combat EXP increase is very minimal. And an NPC boy next to Wakitoshi is called Sheila. Can give you a swimming speed buff at a cost of 20 energy points. This can help you to shorten the travel time if you swim in the ocean. But since I'm playing land, I don't really need this. Usually I just fly directly from the edge to the Sycraia underwater ruins area. And once you see the minimap has changed to Sycraia underwater ruins, you can use the escape function to instantly teleport to Sycraia. Sycraia underwater ruin is an underwater palace at the bottom of the sea. You can physically approach it by swimming, but since your underwater breath is limited, if you're doing it this way, it is better to get the swimming buff from the NPC Sheila and also use the pearl swimming outfits. I reckon you probably will never need to use swimming in 2022 unless your escape function is under cooldown. Previously this game they did have some bug for ocean content, like if you use escape function in the sea, probably after 1 or 2 seconds you'll still be teleported back to the same location. Then basically that's a waste of your escape function. Then actually putting you in a cooldown for the 15 minutes cooldown for the escape. Then you have to swimming all the way from the sea level till the bottom of the sea to find the entrance of the Sycraia underwater ruin, and you have to find the correct door of that area. Then you can swim into it. This costs you time and effort, but now I think this bug has been fixed, and I've never seen in 2022 this happens for the teleport or escape bug. So once you escaped into the Sycraia underwater ruins, you will automatically be entered into the upper zone. You just head north from the starting point, and then you'll find a large statue called Sealed Device in the middle of the grinding zone. And this is a teleport portal to the Abyssal Zone. Usually you will need 5 opening pieces, which is called Fragments of the Deep Sea, and you can get this item from grinding in the upper zone. And to my experience, roughly for 5 pieces, you'll need 20 to 30 minutes if you grind decent in a decent pace. So 20 to 30 minutes. If unlucky, sometimes you can go to 1 hour. That's possible as well. You can also purchase it from central markets. It is not that expensive at the moment because I guess probably a lot of players are grinding in the upper zone for the agris and also for the Kafra stone as well. But previously, if not many people grinding in this area, this item will cost a few millions. So 5 pieces is going to be sometimes going to be 30 to 40 minutes. But if in this method I'm going to show you using a level 60 sage, it will automatically use the passive skill to unlock the sealed device to teleport you into the Sycraia Abyssal Zone. So it actually saves you this amount of money just with a simple tag swap. And later I'll show you how I use the tag character to teleport you to Velia back within 1 minute to get away from Sycraia Abyssal Zone. So it is essential to use the tag character, save your money, save your tickets, save your time. So once you entered into the Sycraia Abyssal Zone, you will always start at the same location. No matter, it's unlike a common temple and history room, you may be starting at different or random spots, but in Sycraia you always start at the same location. And also at the back of this spot is a teleport portal, so it's called Rising Currents. If you talk to this Rising Currents, it will teleport you back to the upper zone. So but if you re-enter the Abyssal Zone again, it will cost you another ticket. So usually you won't go to the upper zone unless you really have something to do over there. And also to leave the Sycraia, you can use the Rising Current to go up and swim out of the Sycraia grinding zones, upper zones, to the sea surface, and then take the boat back to Velia, back to Velia Islands. But this is not how we usually do things. Usually just teleport back with the traveler's map on your out, and yeah, or I'll show you later how I die back to fast forward the teleport. If it's your first time to come to Abyssal Zone, I suggest you use the escape function because it will teleport you back to the NPC of this Abyssal Zone, and the NPC will give you a daily task to do, or if it's first time, it'll give you this region task as well to get some extra bonus from your grinding. And also, if you're not familiar with the location, teleport back, or escape back to the NPC will always give you a same starting point, so you will be easier to get familiar with the location instead of walking and lost your directions. So I suggest you to escape once you entered with your out, escape, then start grinding from the NPC. In addition to the quest, the NPC will also give you a function of gear repair and also sell you some of the potions, HP 4 potion and MP potion. So, and also you can sell your trash loot to NPC to reduce your weight. So this is a very convenient and actually safe place for NPC. So you can access this NPC spot whenever you feel you need it, and you can easily return back by just click the escape function, or you can just walk to this NPC location, which is not very far. I'll show you later with the grinding zone map as well. As for the selection of Draught, Beast Draught, Giant Draught, and Frenzy Draught are the most common ones for grinding in Sycraia. Beast Draught offers the best defense, so it gives you a damage from monster defense minus 10%, and also give you a good combat EXP bonus. So for defense, if you feel you're not confident with your DP and you want to further advance your combat EXP bonus, so use Beast Draught, which is a very good option. And Frenzy Draught will be the best AP choice, so it will increase your grinding speed a lot because it gives the most of the AP bonus against monsters, and also will give you a critical hit buff plus 10%. Indirectly, this will also increase your combat EXP gains, but I think probably not 20% that much as Beast Draught. So Frenzy Draught will give you a very good clearing speed and also increase your money per hour, plus some combat EXP, maybe I just guess maybe 10% of EXP bonus. So overall, Frenzy Draught is a very good choice. Giant Draught is something in the middle, and it is, how to say, it's not that strong in AP as Frenzy, but it's better than Beast Draught because it gives a 10% of the critical hit bonus as well. Though it has 5 less AP against monsters, but I believe the critical hit will help, much better than just 5 AP. So it will increase your money per hour as well than Beast Draught, but it's not as good as Frenzy Draught. But the benefit of Giant Draught is usually is accessible. Frenzy Draught is difficult to obtain because you need a special drop, which is obtained by grinding in this monster zone. But Giant Draught usually is supplied by the market in a steady demand and supply. So I would say that Giant Draught, usually if you want it, you can get it from the market. But Frenzy Draught, sometimes it will sold out. The reason I choose Beast Draught in this case is because I want to play safe. I just want to get a safe DP because I can really feel the difference after I use the Beast Draught comparing to I didn't. So it's safer for me to grind. Sometimes if I overlooked and was back hit by the mini boss in this grinding zone, then my HP will drop very fast because I'm building evasion. So I just want to play safe, and also in the meantime I need to show you in the video, so I may not grind in the safest way. Thus I decided to use the combat EXP Draught, that is Beast Draught, for a safe play. Okay, now let's take a look of the grinding spots for this episode zone. So there are, in my opinion, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 grinding chambers, grinding spots for this grinding zone. So very rarely you need to contest with other players, even if I'm grinding Asha. So if you want high accessory drop, just grinding Asha, you won't need to PvP with other players, because you most of the time, 99% of the time, you will find your grinding spots. At least this is before this video. Hopefully you can still find a grinding spot for you. Okay. You can see previously I took a look of the main spot, which is after you get into the location of the NPC, you just turn west, and the first chamber you're going to see is the main spot, but I find someone was grinding there, so I just took an alternative place, which is the spot to the east of the NPC. So this is the next chamber to the east of the NPC chamber. So you can see there's still plenty of mobs here, and easily I can form a rotation to clear the mobs in the lower tier first, and then I move up to the edge and clear those mobs, and then I jump from the edge into the bottom again, and then I just form a natural rotation. This spot depends on your AP. If your AP is very high, you're grinding very fast, it can sometimes run out of the mobs before they respawn. So the reason the previous spot was called main spot is because rarely it will run out of the mobs, and people, if you grind there, regardless of your AP, you shouldn't be able to be bothered by waiting then the respawn. But in this chamber, if your AP is like 260 to 270, it shouldn't be a big problem for you. But if you'll be very high in AP and also use the Draught, use the perfume, then you probably need some extension to further extend your grinding rotation to fill this waiting time. So I didn't use any agris and item increase scroll before. You can see the average drop or the medium drop of the trash loot is like 2 or 3 from each mob. Occasionally you will get 4 trash drop from a mob. I believe probably is from a specific mob which is the strongest in Sycraia, but this is very rare. So most of the time you expect maybe 1 to 3 as the most common trash drop from grinding here without any agris and drop rate buff. Usually I suggest you use the agris plus the blue scroll, which will give you a very decent money per hour and also save your number of blue scroll. But if you really have abundance of the blue scroll, you may combine them to a yellow scroll and use the agris plus the yellow scroll to give you the maximum money per hour. So that's your choice. And for grinding, I don't have a detailed specific maneuver to teach you because I believe every players have different playstyle and also different characters have different, strategy, and also depends on gear level as well. So I don't have something specifically to teach you, but I'll give you some principles of grinding. I think these principles will apply to every grinders, and if you follow these principles, it will help you to increase your money per hour. So the first principle is always trying to kill 10, at least 5 mobs, 5 to 10 mobs at one time. So if you pull a bunch of mobs and you kill maybe 8 of them and 2 of them left, unless their HP is very, very less, and you maybe just take you maybe a 1 second or 0.5 second, then you can do that. Otherwise, I suggest you use your time more efficiently by pulling another second bunch of mobs, because the maximum aggro you can draw for the mobs are 10. So you can only kill or damage 10 mobs at the same time. And trying to maximize your money per hour, ideally you want to keep killing or keep attacking 10 mobs forever. So continuously attacking 10. And also your movement should be not too far or too fast, at least. So you try to give your pets some time, because this grinding zone is also already very friendly to the pets, because you probably take some time to kill them and move from one batch to another batch. So it's already very friendly to the pets, but sometimes I can still see, especially in the main grinding spot, if I grind too fast, my pets may not be able to pick up everything. I just need to slightly move closer to the dead bodies of the mobs, then to give my chance during my attacking, so to give my pet some chance to do the trash for me. So this is the principle one. And second principle is, ideally you want to kill the eyes of the deep sea first, because this mob is a statue mob. It will give you a debuff to decrease your attack speed, decrease your casting speed. So overall is will decrease your money power if it constantly give you a debuff, right? Especially every time when he attacks you, it will refresh this debuff. So if you have been applied with a 9 or 10 seconds of debuff, attacking debuff, and you kill other mobs, then naturally the debuffs runs down to maybe like 4 seconds. But if this time it hits you again, from 4 seconds your debuff will be refreshed to 10 seconds again. So it was very annoying if you don't kill it at an early stage. So I recommend you to kill it ASAP to avoid the debuff. And also you can use another strategy, is to dodge the attack of the deep eyes of the deep sea, because if you dodge successfully of the attack, then the debuff won't be applied. But please remember, the dodge is different than a evasion, like a successful evasion. So if you are building evasion from your guild, and even if you evaded the attack, that doesn't mean you evaded the debuff. The debuff will still apply. The only thing won't apply is the damage. So it won't reduce your HP, but all the debuffs will still apply. So you can only dodge the attack or try to get out of the attack range to kill the mob. So sometimes for me, I just go there, first thing to hit, just kill deep sea, eyes of the deep sea, and then kill other mobs. So this is how I do it. Occasionally, sometimes what I do is, if I find there are many mobs stay together and I can pull them away from the eyes of deep sea, out of the attack range, so I just get away of it and kill the rest 10 mobs. And once 10 mobs is done, I then move to another batch, so I leave the eyes of deep sea unattacked, and he also doesn't attack me as well. So I'm okay with that strategy as well. So basically, first thing, try to kill 10 mobs every time, and second is try to get yourself away from the attacking speed debuff. Now you can see I'm at a next chamber, which is in the middle of the Sycraia, the whole Sycraia abyssal zone. It is called statue rotation because there's a big statue in the middle of this chamber, and you just grind around this in a circle around this statue to kill the mobs. This chamber has already filled with many mobs, but to my experience, if you have high AP and use the Draught and perfume, it will still be some waiting periods for you to wait for the respawn of the mobs. So I would say it is secondary grinding spot. So all the grinding chambers, if you need to wait, that is not ideal for high-end skier grinding. So this chamber is okay, give you a reasonable return, but it's not ideal as the main chamber I'm going to show you later. And also there is another chamber at the back of the Sycraia, which I'll also show you. Is another main grinding zone, so grinding spots. So I recommend those two grinding spots than this statue rotation. This is quite famous rotation, but just not really okay if you have a very high AP, in my opinion. Another grinding tips I just want to mention here is you better keep moving when you grind the mobs. It's not about moving from one batch to another batch, you just keep moving to dodge the attack of the mobs, because they attack is very slow. But if they hit you, like 10 mobs hit you at the same time, it can really cause a pain. And sometimes it will be dangerous if they actually CC'd you and knock you down, and probably like 2 seconds you just lay on the ground. There is a possibility you may be killed if your DP is not that strong enough. So by keep moving, you will successfully dodge the attack, because they attack very slow, and basically you won't be hit, or maybe only like 10% of their hits will actually reach you. And also you will be moving from there, like facing them in the front and moving to the side and to the back to give them a back attack bonus, because the defense of the mobs are relatively high. So if you kill a mob, it's not like a one shot, even if you have a very high AP. So by providing an extra back attack bonus, especially use the Frenzy Draught and Giant Draught, so it will further increase the damage of the back attack. It will be very efficient for your grinding in this kind of maneuver and strategy. So by keep moving, helping you be safe, helping you to increase your money per hour, just keep this as a general practice when you do the grinding in the real time. Okay, now you have get a gist of the grinding in Sycraia Abyssal Zone. I'll just speed up the grinding video and quickly go through other chambers with you and show you the other two main grinding chambers. So to help you give an idea of the possibilities in grinding here and the possible extension as well. So we'll keep moving, and in this chamber is a small chamber. It is close to your spawn location, and this is not enough for a AP. Even for lower AP players, you probably still will over grind this spot, so you need some extension to the west, to the chamber to the west of this one, to form a large rotation. So this chamber alone cannot support a person's grinding, so you always extend to the west a little bit and then come back to grind, so form a large circle. The grinding speed in this large rotation circle is okay, so the money per hour is not bad. It's decent. Probably it's not as good as the main rotation, because you have to extend your rotation a bit. The time in travel and place is not matched than a constantly grinding. But if the main spots are filled with players, and if you are pursuing for the accessories, want to keep staying in Asha server, so this extension rotation is considerable, so it's suggested for those players as well. Now you can see I've entered. I come back to the chamber where we first enter into Abyssal Zone. So this is a spawn chamber we actually have seen at the beginning, and it's a natural rotation to form a circle in this chamber alone. But still, this chamber may be over grinded, and you may need to use the chamber like the extension chamber I mentioned for the previous one. But for this chamber is to the east of this chamber. So the middle chamber of this spawn chamber and the previous one I introduced can share the same extension chamber. So for overgrinders, so use this chamber. It's okay, and if you are familiar with the locations, once you be teleported into the Abyssal Zone, you can just start grinding without escaping to the NPC and walk your way to the chamber. So you can just immediately start grinding. This is another advantage for this chamber. And overall, it's also decent, but still no match for the main rotation. Alright, now we're at the main chamber, main grinding zone. So this is the most popular grinding zone because it will never run out of the mobs, and the mobs are pretty packed. I entered this chamber from the spawn chamber, but if you start with the NPC, you just walk to the west, and then you are also entering into this chamber. So there are two entrances to this chamber. Yeah, you can see how I grinded this. I just move from pack to pack, and I rarely need to wait, or I need to, pull the mobs, spend some time to walk. So it's pretty packed, and just keep going. That's the reason it offers the very best money per hour as for this grinding zone. And just some tinfoil theory, I just feel I feel this grinding zone gives the highest drop rate of the town grind ring. I don't know why, but maybe it's because of the the special mobs has the largest number here. I just feel maybe. But it's not necessary. Maybe I just feel I just have luck in this main rotation. But I prefer to grind here if this place is not occupied. But in Arsha, if you grind in Arsha, most of the time people will choose this spot because it's close to the NPC, close to save the and take the quest. So if you take the quest and you want to submit the quest after you finished, you grind this chamber is the convenience one. Otherwise, you have to escape and then come back to your grinding chamber. So yeah, it actually reduced your effective grinding time, right? So you can see I've already grinded in one circle, and I almost never run out of the mobs. The mobs will respawn before I come. I just keep going. So this is the main chamber, main grinding spot. I highly suggest for everyone grinding in Sycraia. As for the rest, I'll just have a look of the other chambers to explore other opportunities, because sometimes the main spot, as I said, will be contested sometime. But other chambers will also give you a decent drop rate and also money per hour. So don't need to contest with others. So everyone will have a decent reward in this grinding zone. This is another special advantage for Sycraia over Star Ascent. Star Ascent, I think the rotation of Star Ascent is quite limited, and people can see each other in a large open field. So if you're grinding Asha, sometimes it's very common for people just engage in PvP. Right? So Sycraia is a quiet grinding zone, which is okay. Now you can see we have arrived in another chamber. This is a small chamber. This is not a grinding chamber, but a exit chamber. So you can see another rising current. So this will also take you up to the upper zone, and to the east of this zone. Now we enter into a second main grinding chamber. So this one I probably just call it as a back chamber. So this grinding chamber has a very interesting feature, is because unlike the main chamber, it probably doesn't have that amount of the mobs in this small chamber, because it's not large as the open field as the main chamber, but it do have a very high density of the large mobs. So you can see the large, I would describe it as a crab mob, and also a snail mob. So these two mobs have a large density here. So for me to kill each batch of the mob, the time cost in my opinion, is higher than the main chamber. So you can see, I grind really a lot of time for each batch, and the number of the mobs is always, I keep at the maximum, like 10 mobs at a time. So the grinding in this chamber is quite efficient, and your pet, you probably won't need to worry about your pets because they can pick up everything almost. In the main chamber, sometimes if I grind the small mobs, I feel I can see it left over some trash loot, but in this chamber I rarely find it, and it is very, I would say, easy to move. So you don't need to move a lot. So just from pack to pack, very close to each other. So this is the second main spot. I highly suggest as well. To the north of the back chamber, there is another chamber. It's kind of like the statue chamber because there is a thin statue in the middle of this chamber. But this grinding spot is not very okay because the mob density I feel is quite scarce, and I feel the move between packs is also costing me a lot of time. Another thing is this spot can be overly grinded, so you have to wait for maybe like 20 seconds sometimes in order to get the mobs be respawn. So this chamber for lower AP players, probably that's okay. Let's say you can keep moving in this chamber, and I don't think it will be contested because I rarely see people grind in this spot. But for higher AP players, this chamber is not very okay, and it also lacks of extension. So this one is kind of like separated, and it's not very close to the other extension chambers. So I feel this one is really not very okay. So I won't suggest you grind in this chamber. Alright, now we move to the west. So this new chamber is a small grinding spot. Like the previous one, I didn't see a good extension of this one. Probably, and it can be overly grinded as well. So it's not recommended usually. But if you have a high movement, because of a character like Lan, you may, or if you're okay, you may form a extension with the chamber to the west. So this chamber to the west is the first grinding chamber you see in this video. So this grinding chamber is actually self-sufficient. So if you grind at the bottom, then come to the top of the edge, and then jump down. So sometimes, most of the time, it will be okay. But if you really grind very fast, you may still overgrind those areas. So you can further extend in this chamber together. So these two will form a large rotation. But as I said, because you have to walk from one chamber to another one, so the time in walking will be wasted. So you have to get a very high mobility class in order to effectively grind in these grinding spots. I find a very good Sycraia map on Reddit. Because of the copyright, I just paste the link in the description. So if you're interested, have a look of that map and take a look together with this video. So you will easily figure out the layout of Sycraia and also find or spot clearly of the main grinding zones close to NPC, and also the back main grinding zone as the back rotation. So this video is already very long. I'll just quickly to get you to the final part of teleport back to Velia. So I've already grinded here in 2 hours from this video, and what I'll do is just swap to your tag character and dive back to Velia Islands, and then from Velia Islands use a traveler's map on your tag character to teleport back to Velia. If you don't have a tag character, like you use the fragment pieces to enter into the Sycraia episode zone, that's also fine. What you can do is, because you may not have an ult, if you die back with your main character, you may lose your combat EXP, though it's very minimal. If you really want to save your time, you can do that, because the loss is very minimal. And I don't know whether if you remove your gears and you die to the mobs, you will lose, decrease the amount of the combat XP. I don't know whether the calculation of the EXP loss is based on gear score, but I just feel, saving on time probably is more valuable than taking the hassle of coming back like by swimming or taking the ship. So using an alt character die back or grinding Asha, ask some players to kill you, that's also fine as well. Just teleport back to the town, and you can see now we are in Velia Islands very fast. Just a simple click and some courage to die back. Now from here I just teleport back with the Traveler's Map, and Traveler's Map you are easy to get from Central Market. There are plenty of them for sale, and you can also get them when you grind in Sycraia, very high drop rate. So I never see someone grinding Sycraia without obtaining a single Traveler's Map. That's impossible. So very easy to get and convenient to teleport back. And if occasionally you used your Traveler's Map and it is in cooldown, so you couldn't get back to Velia by teleport, what you can also do is there is a public transport of a griffin. It is to the west of the Velia Island town, and there is a platform, and probably every 5 to 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes, a griffin will come to take you. It's an automatic trip, take you back to Velia, and you can also just wait for the griffin, and it will transport you back to Velia. Total for the waiting time and travel time probably is around. If you're really unlucky, you have to wait for the full time and travel, then probably 10 to 15 minutes. So that's the maximum waiting time if your Traveler's Map is in cooldown. Okay, now you can see I've already come back to Velia. I just untag the character and then move back to my main character. That's it. That's my whole trip to Sycraia grinding zone, and I finished. I grind there for 2 hours. For me, players like me, I don't grind very often. I probably just occasionally grind on the weekend for like 1 or 2 hours, and that's for all my grinding, or every day you grind maybe 1 or 2 hours. If you take all the travel time to Star's End, to Thornwood Forest, to maybe Given Temple, and travel back and forth, probably that's like 20 minutes at least, I feel, right? So this time should be deducted from your effective grinding time. Some people are saying grinding those areas give you a very high money power, but if you include this travel time in it, probably most likely the money power is lower than Sycraia. And Sycraia is also solo zone. You don't need it's quite convenient. You don't need party members. So that's the benefit of Sycraia. And you can see also I complete a guild mission, also with extra bonus. Alright, that's all for today's video. Let me know if you have any comments in the comment section, and I'll see you next time.